Well, how's it going, everybody, on this Tuesday? It is a cold Tuesday here, and glad you're with us here at Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. A lot to get to today. Some basketball, some NFL from last night, college football national championship, and more portal news.
Yeah, the portal news I'm kind of over with. And, I hope everybody gets who they want. I hope all the players get where they want to be and everything. I hope Troy does really well in the portal. But the portal has ruined Twitter for me for a while, or X, or any social media, really. Because, I have a wide range of interests. By the way, he's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. Been together forever. Don't agree on anything. You know the deal. And I'll follow what's going on in politics or, my friends on Twitter or what's going on with several of the teams that I like, the Jaguars and the SEC and everything Troy and all that. And it all gets blown away over the last couple of 3 weeks because such and such and so has entered the transfer portal and has scheduled a visit with Kennesaw State. I'm thinking,
yeah.
The player himself, hey, AGTG, blessed to receive an offer in the transfer portal from Central Arkansas. And I'm thinking, just tell me where they're going. Just tell me what the final deal is and all that. Because, it is blowing up my social media.
Yeah.
I don't know what my cousins are doing. I can't figure out what's happening down at my, at my favorite school or whatever. Because all this stuff is just let me know.
I think it's to me, it's kind of like recruiting. And if you followed this duo for any amount of time, you know that recruiting was never my bag. I know a lot of people liked it, followed it, put a lot of stock in it. Just let me know who shows up to practice and we'll reevaluate in 2 years and see if they lived up to their star ranking. So I'm the kind of the same way. I know a lot of people get worked up about the portal, but I think it's even magnified now, Barry, when you see players at your program, you have seen them play, put on your jersey, and then they end up somewhere else. I think that really stings, and that really affects these fan bases. The latest news, 2 Alabama players, one from Montgomery, have elected to transfer to Ohio State. That's not the first time that's happened. Alabama's had other high-profile players that have ended up at Ohio State. Caleb Downs and Julian Sayin. There are 2 more that are going. Quay Russaw being one of them, played at Carver. How much longer can stuff like that happen? Or Hollywood Smothers, who allegedly committed to Alabama, but ends up at Texas. How does that happen? Is it money? Is it just falling asleep at the wheel and not locking this down? Or what Clinton Dick said, well, these guys, watch the tape. These guys aren't any good. Well, they got a couple of linemen from Michigan that have taken about 10 snaps. How much tape have they got on those guys?
I liked what he said. We commented on what Clinton Dick said last week. The Alabama's director of player performance, who said, some of these portal guys aren't all that, watch the tape and tell me how big of a loss they are. I'm in my office all day and all this kind of stuff, which is good. I like it. That's a good thing. I don't know about what the tape looks like. I know what I see and all that in my layman's perspective. But Keon Keeley's going to Notre Dame. They must have liked the tape.
Yeah.
James Smith is going to Ohio State. They're not picking him because everybody says, wow, that guy was a 5-star. We got to get him, So I wonder about that. For some of the Auburn guys, who are in the portal, I'm thinking, wait a minute, this guy's going where? This guy's got an offer from Ole Miss? He ain't played but a couple of snaps, or that guy, or that, so all
like
that
I mentioned,
stuff.
these 2 guys that these linemen that Alabama desperately needs, they don't have a lot on tape. They haven't taken a lot of snaps. So yeah, I mean, I like what Ha-Ha's saying as well, but is that just for the players that are leaving? What about the ones that are coming in? How much production have they made? What is so impressive about Caden Strayhorn, who's taken 14 snaps with Michigan, or Ty Haywood, who's taken 15? Can you see enough in 29 snaps to know, man, these guys, whoo, we got to have them? I'm just asking the question.
Well, yeah, and your point being that the fans are bound to get jaded a little bit. They'll be watching a game and it'll be weird seeing Keon Keeley in a Notre Dame uniform, and all of a sudden there's a sack by Quay Russaw. Actually, he combined with Caleb Downs or whatever.
I was just about to say, how many times have I heard Caleb Downs' name mentioned?
Yeah, and
Julian Sayin, for that matter.
Yeah, Julian Sayin began at Alabama, and you're thinking, this is weird. But also, it gets you jaded. A buddy of mine sent me this yesterday. The University of Alabama collective, the NIL collective, which is a different deal than the old collectives used to be. But anyway, it's called Yay Alabama, and he sent it to me. And I'll read the tweet with a picture on it of Bray Hubbard, right? Bray Hubbard is a defensive back. Good. I don't think he's winning the Jim Thorpe Award anytime soon, but good player. Yeah. You can win games with Bray Hubbard. And it says, quote, from Yay Alabama, it says, quote, breaking. DB Bray Hubbard will return to play at Alabama for the 2026 season. For some players, legacy isn't just a word, it's the reason they play. Bray Hubbard is returning to Alabama to build on what he's already started, leading a defense with one goal in mind, bringing another national championship back to Tuscaloosa. Whew.
That's Bray? You need Caleb Downs and Julian Sayin and James Smith and Quay Russaw as well. You should have talked them to it. And Hollywood Smothers wouldn't have been a bad addition either.
Well, here's the deal. My friend sent that to me. I mean, I wouldn't have known. I think Bray Hubbard's a nice player. And he's an Alabama fan. He's not like Phillip that gigs him at all times, but he's an Alabama fan. And he says, number one, they ain't winning a national championship while Bray Hubbard is there. And number two, well, he said, we aren't winning a national championship while Bray Hubbard is there. And number two, all this stuff about wanting to leave a legacy, Bray Hubbard got a raise. That's what and maybe he didn't. Maybe he bleeds crimson and white. Maybe his family, all, raised crimson tide or whatever. I don't know. But that's what the fans are thinking. They're thinking, yeah, okay, legacy, this and that, all, he wants to, bring Alabama. He just loves the Tide. And fans are starting to doubt that now. They're thinking, yeah, he's in it for the money, which however much money Bray Hubbard commands, he's entitled to. But fans are starting to think, even the guys that are staying, it ain't because of their love for Denny Chimes or the legacy set by Bear Bryant or anything like that. Same thing at Auburn. Guys who are coming to Auburn now, the Byram Browns or anything, or all of the other players coming from South Florida or the offensive tackle from Western Kentucky or whatever it is. Do they even know where Toomer's Corner is?
Barry, when they leave Tampa, they're going to have to put it into Waze. Now, where am I going again? How do I get there? Auburn. What road do I take to get there? No, they don't, and they don't care, and they don't. Bo Jackson. Who? Bo Jackson. I wasn't even born when Bo Jackson.
And
played
so,
at
what
Auburn.
the fans are thinking, they're thinking, well, by gosh, if more and more. Well, by gosh, if he don't care, why should I care? It was funny the other day. Joe Buck, who did the game last night. More on that later.
Boy, don't tease me like that.
That's we got to talk about that ahead of the Phantom Daily Dog. That had to be painful. Did the game last night.
That's one of those you stare at the ceiling when you get in bed. You can't go to sleep. Well, what the heck? Anyway.
Y'all bookmark that because we'll come.
Yeah,
we'll come for
more on that in a little more than an hour.
But he's a graduate of Indiana University. And, on the heels of Mark Cuban, who's an IU grad, spending a lot of money on Indiana. And he said, I guess they're a lot happier this year than they were last year because he gave him a bunch of money. Somebody asked on a podcast last week, Joe Buck, Indiana grad, about, hey, are you going to drop any money at IU for the football program? My gosh. And he said, well, Troy Aikman, he and I were kind of talking about that. Troy Aikman said he sent a large check to UCLA for a player, and the player didn't even stay. He transferred out, and nobody even gave me a thank you. I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
Basically, he was talking about Dante Moore, but Buck said, Troy was telling me about that. It doesn't sound like there's any sort of anything in it for the investor. There's no return. I don't think I'm going to be doing that. So there's a lot of people out there.
What is the return on investment, Barry? That individual player has a great season, wins the Heisman Trophy, or the team wins a national championship. What is the payback? Maybe these guys aren't looking for one. Maybe they're just trying to make the team strong overall.
Yes. But
yeah, there again, we talked about it yesterday. Buyer fatigue, if you will. How much longer are these guys? I've done this for a couple of years. I think I'm moving on. I got to think that's already happening. You can only go to the well so many times in schools like Auburn and Alabama and Arkansas and South Carolina, Missouri, and a lot of these other SEC schools. I think that's the case. You can't go to the well as often as they do. They don't have enough big dogs to go to. That's why they're nickel and diming everybody. I remember we talked about something Greg Byrne wanted, if everybody at Bryant-Denny Stadium donated $18, it was some odd number. Well, 18 is not an odd number, obviously, but you don't hear, it's usually rounded up, $20, whatever.
Right.
That they would make, $2 million or something like that. And I'm thinking, is that $2 million? Is that going to do anything? It's nice if everybody donated $18. And I'm sure the theory was, well, some people will donate 100, some will donate 500, some will donate 1,000. But if we could just get everybody to at least donate $18, and I went, is really? Is that what we're going through now? That we got to get $18 out of everybody for an NIL?
For what? And this is also on seat licenses and, Greater Auburn Fund or, all this kind of stuff as well. Oh, yeah. And John,
that is $18 a month, by the way.
Yeah.
Not a one-time deal.
Right. So you get all that. It's blowing up my social media. And I follow a lot of different things, but I get a little tired of news that's not news. Such and such and so has scheduled visits at so-and-so and such and such. He was a 4-star coming out of high school, and he's also had stops at Western Kentucky and Georgia State and Tulane. Some of these kids are loving getting recruited every year, and I got to sit there and pay attention to it. I get a little jaded about that myself, and I'm in the business for.
Well, Barry, I look forward to talking with Brian Matthews in about 15 minutes or so, and Travis Ryer at the top of hour number 2, because I want to ask them both. What is more important now, high school recruiting or portal recruiting? Do you need to get players that are experienced and established and what they can do in college? Or is it still important to reel in a top 5 recruiting class with a bunch of high school kids? I'm looking forward to hearing their answer, because to me, and I'm not an expert in this, but to me, it's looking like you better go out and find guys that are proven and can come in and step in and play immediately. You ain't got time to groom and mentor and teach and mold a guy into a college player.
Because, among other things, you mold and you teach and you motivate and all that, and you're patient with that kid for 2 years. And guess what? He's a bust. Turns out he can't play. And you've invested 2 years in somebody that, number one, that's 2 years of a waste, so to speak. But number two, that's 2 years. You could have had some guy in the transfer portal come in, plug in, play, ready to go. He's been around the block a little bit, 1,000 snaps. Instead, you spent all your time on this kid, and this kid can't play. Man, we tried and tried and tried. It looks like Tarzan plays like Jane.
So the 2 recruiting classes that Kalen DeBoer's reeled in the top 5, does that really matter? Is that, I mean, there again, 10 years ago it would have. But does it matter now that Alabama's had 2 top 5 recruiting classes? Do they have time to teach and mold these guys? Obviously, along the offensive and defensive line, they better go out and get somebody that can play today.
You look at the last recruiting class for Nick Saban. I think his last recruiting class was 2022. Jahad Campbell gone, Elijah Pritchett gone, Isaiah Bond gone, Jeremiah Alexander gone, Kendrick Law gone, Curtis Perry gone, Emmanuel Henderson gone, Kobe. I mean, this was Saban's last class.
And it makes you
they only got 3 players left.
Kind of makes you wonder, why are you wasting your time, money, and effort on high school kids if so many of them are leaving?
Give me
I guess you got to recruit some high school kids. You got to do, but I guess you got to know going in. Well, let's see. I got 18 on this list. Odds are 9 of them aren't going to be here in 2 years.
We do have that. We do have basketball to talk about. Alabama plays tonight at Mississippi State. That's at 8:00 on the SEC network.
Say it ain't so.
Auburn's on the road tomorrow. They play at Missouri. That's at 6 tomorrow night on ESPN2. Lots to get to on the program. Glad you're along.
Yeah.
But we cannot wait. We'll have to do this before the Phantom's Daily Dog in an hour. Which would you rather? Would you rather pick the over and get nowhere close at any point and early on give up? Or would you rather pick the over, have nothing happening for 3 quarters, then all of a sudden an offensive explosion in the 4th quarter?
Cool.
Hey, whoa, hang on. Here we go.
I mean, a lot of turnovers, a lot of sloppy play.
And then it still falls short.
Yeah.
You know?
I look back at all those turnovers last night and I'm thinking, I just one of the, if you hold on to it just one of those times, you might have got me 2 more points that I needed.
A field goal. Oh, anyway, all that's coming up.
That's the business.
He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
Hey, where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You get a Bud Light? Bud Light? I'm here, Bud Light. Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light where? Bud Light here? Oh, Bud Light there. I missed that because of you. You did not miss that play because of me. Tough to stop talking this way? Yeah. It's actually kind of fun. Hey, I got your Bud Light. Oh, nice. Never mind. Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light. What'd I miss? I have no idea.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
All righty, welcome back in, everybody. About 20 minutes past the hour. Something I wanted to mention to everybody out there that's checking us out at Yellowhammer News, yellowhammernews.com, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, Spotify, Apple iTunes, however you watch or listen to Longshore McKnight. We really appreciate it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And this is really important. Barry, only 4 days are left. Count them. 4 days.
4 days.
In the 2026 Publix Torch Icon campaign for Special Olympics Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, Publix has been a huge supporter of Special Olympics Alabama for many, many years, and they are a great corporate partner with Special Olympics. So when you go to your local Publix store, I was in the Publix yesterday, the cashier is going to ask you, would you like to make a donation to Special Olympics Alabama? It's your choice. $1, $5, $10, $20, whatever you want to donate. It is greatly appreciated. And for that donation, not only will you be helping out Special Olympics Alabama, you'll also receive a $30 Procter & Gamble product coupon book that you can use for future purchases. And this is a campaign that goes on every year in early January, and there will be Special Olympians all around the state there with booths and whatnot to show you and let you know and educate you about Special Olympics Alabama. And you can make a donation there as well. But it will wrap up at the end of this week. So if you're in Publix, and I know you will be, because everybody's got to go get some groceries and a gallon of milk or whatever else you might need, make sure you make a donation to Special Olympics Alabama. Any donation goes a long way. And I can tell you, I've been a part of Special Olympics for over 20 years, and the good work that the folks at Publix do make a lot of things happen for our Special Olympians here in the state of Alabama. It is greatly appreciated. So it's all this week. So do not forget and pull out a 5, a 10, 20. We'd greatly appreciate it.
Yep, Publix has been associated with Special Olympics Alabama for more than 40 years. If you say, well, I don't know where my local Publix is, if you're watching us from somewhere, just go to specialolympics.alabama.org. Not only could you make a donation online if you want to, but you got a list, you got a map. They'll show you where the nearest Publix is, so you can
I don't think you got to go far. There's a lot of Publix in the state of Alabama. It's interesting because when we do this with Publix, we know the new areas that they're building new Publix locations. So we know where the new ones are even going. So for the coming year, because as I mentioned, there are Special Olympians that go to these stores around the state and are there with a table and a booth and, give you a lot of information. But, as I see people walk into a Publix, they are very generous. It's heartwarming to see people help out Special Olympics Alabama. And there again, this is a big campaign. It goes on every year, and it will wrap up at the end of this week. But there again, everybody goes to Publix. You kidding me?
I do.
Yeah. I see us. If I want to see somebody, I go to Publix because I know they're going to be there. I'm going to see somebody I know every time I walk in the store.
Well, if you're in a small town like Troy, our Publix is like, if you don't get a chance to get out and visit everybody in your town, just go to Publix and hang out. You'll see everybody in there, and hopefully everybody at the Troy Publix will make that donation as well. More information at specialolympics.alabama.org.
I was in the store yesterday, Barry, and the cashier asked me, I said, oh, certainly. Yes, definitely. Sign me up. And I mentioned something about Special Olympics, and the manager heard me. And he came up and we talked, and he just talked about how long he had been with Publix. I think he said he'd worked for Publix for almost 25 years, and he'd been a part of this, and he's certainly familiar with it and all that kind of stuff. So the employees are very aware of it as well. And they come to the state games. We have public representatives in Troy for state games every May. They always come down and are a part of that. So greatly appreciate it.
Real quick, this is how old I'm getting. The manager at the Publix in Troy, great guy. His name's Anthony. First time I met him was to interview him for something. They were sponsoring something, I think, with Troy and Special Olympics. And I interviewed him at his office, and his name's Anthony Carter.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, that's the same name as the former All-American wide receiver at the University of Michigan, right? Huh? Play for the Michigan Panthers in the USFL. He looked at me like,
who?
Yeah. Never mind. Okay. Now to the interview. Yeah. Great guy, great people, to be sure. We also like to spotlight what we think is great contributions in our business. Big shout out to Cole Kubelik, who is this year's Alabama Sportscaster of the Year from the National Media Association. I was last year's. Great. Cole's deserving. Good guy. Love him. Great work. We also like to point out great sports writing as well.
Oh, what'd Philip win?
Philip didn't win. He didn't win anything. Coffee with Philip. This is the best I've ever heard. Philip Marshall is with AuburnUndercover.com. Rarely do I mention him before John does. It's very difficult to do, number one. Number two, I'm not a huge fan. But this is beautiful. Coffee with Philip. Tuesday morning musings.
Yep.
Interest. And the subheadline reads, Expectations for Golish's first Auburn season. And I quote,
okay.
What will be reasonable expectations for Auburn football in Alex Golish's first season as head coach? I have no idea.
Neither do I, Philip.
John, this is the difference in reaction. I read that and I'm like, who the heck would say that? Who the heck would open a column by asking themselves a question they have no idea to? What is the cosine of pi? I have no idea. John's reaction is, oh man, Can I give him another $9.99? Is my
this is what I'm looking for? Yeah, beautiful.
What will be reasonable expectations for Auburn this year? I have no idea. Oh, that's gold. That's gold. John reads that and he says, "Okay, all right."
I gotta think I've read something like that before. I can't swear to it, but I think he's used that same style before. Continue, please.
No, that was it for me. That's all I read. I read that and I immediately, flipped out. I read some of the other stuff. And of course, in a moment, we'll talk with our guy, Brian Matthews, AuburnSports.com.
That's right.
A different website about the transfer portal and what he thinks for Auburn. Auburn, we've been talking a lot about, mostly it seems like Alabama losing guys to the portal or losing a starting quarterback who threw for 3,500 yards last year and led them to the playoff, and it's time for him to go and everything. Auburn, the perception is that Auburn is just being lazy and just getting South Florida guys.
That's kind of my perception.
Cole Best is an offensive guard center, 2-year starter at South Florida. He is the latest former Bull, to head to Auburn. Yeah. Cole Best. But also, they've gotten Florida State cornerback transfer Shamar Arnaud.
Oh, sounds like a Louisiana name.
Oregon State quarterback transfer Tristan Tia signs with Auburn football.
Yeah.
Christian Tia, 22nd addition to the Auburn transfer class. 22. I bet you guys thought maybe they had 6 or 7. No, they've got 22. 3 games for Oregon State last year.
Oh, wow.
Started in the finale against Washington State.
Okay.
So, it's not North Carolina tight end, Jake Johnson, Josh Johnson, Jake Johnson.
Yep.
Baylor running back transfer Bryson Washington. That's a big one. Leading rusher the last 2 seasons for Baylor. Top 10 running back in the transfer portal. Jeremiah Cobb says he's back. Things are starting to take shape, John. I'm not talking about SEC Western Division champions or anything that that's not going to happen.
Yeah,
but
no.
They're doing some stuff. Now they're losing people too. Cam Coleman.
Yeah.
Why did he get into the portal? Didn't like the quarterback. Didn't like the change in leadership. Didn't like the I don't know. But I do know the reason why he decided to go to Texas.
Oh.
It's what we've been talking about. Ooh, I have a pretty good idea why Deuce Knight is transferring to Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Well, for him, it's more of an opportunity, but he's gonna get a little something for that too. So
yeah, and there again, I mean, also is it just money, or was it not a good fit? Was he not a good teammate? Didn't mesh in the locker room? I mean, I think there's a lot to why. I mean, I think money's number one. I do think that playing time with others, but. Yeah, I mean, get used to it. This is totally different from what we have experienced, forever.
Ever.
And you're going to see it every year until somebody can put some guardrails and adjust this calendar and adjust really the free-for-all that college athletics has become. You mentioned Brian Matthews. He's in the green room. He's going to join us when we return on this Tuesday edition of Longshore McKnight. A lot of things we want to discuss with Brian, and he is going to join us when we get back.
It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com. The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat, and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. Many well-known restaurants in the river region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272. Okay, back at it here, about 28 minutes to the top of the hour. Our man Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com, joining us as he does each and every Tuesday. Brian, hope you're doing well.
I'm doing great, guys. Good morning.
I don't want to talk about the portal until we absolutely have to late in the program, but I do want to talk about this, the impact, the importance, the afterglow of Auburn men's basketball tearing Arkansas a new one, winning by 22, and Keyshawn Hall goes for 30 for the second straight game. We'll recap all of that, particularly in terms of importance for this team.
And Keyshawn got snubbed as SEC Player of the Week, but that aside, tough times.
He averaged like 32 points a game for the week.
I knew I forgot to submit my vote.
And I'm sorry, it looks like my internet
one vote short.
Having problems.
Yeah, we're getting you. You're a little sketchy, but we're getting you.
Yeah, we got you. We hear you.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great bounce back, Bob. Off to start, backs against the wall, all that stuff, and they came out and played really, really well. I think they caught Arkansas off guard. They were getting every loose ball. They were out rebounding them, out hustling them, and just outplaying them on both ends of the floor. And I think you've seen over the last, say, 3 weeks or so that Auburn has really taken a step forward defensively, and I think that's really allowed them to play much, much better. And this is a big game for them going to Missouri. Missouri's a team that's already beaten Florida and Kentucky this season. They're 2-1. If Auburn can somehow win this game on the road, that would be a big win for them. They're coming home against South Carolina, a chance to maybe get back above 500 in the conference. So we'll see. This is a big game tomorrow night for Auburn.
Yeah, I said prior to the Arkansas game, Brian, a must win. I know it's early in the season, but you can't go down 0-3 in the conference And the two prior games were two games Auburn should have won, in my opinion. And you can't let Arkansas slip in and beat you. And you're right, just a total domination on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, I agree. That was the backs against the wall game for Auburn. I don't think Arkansas was prepared for a team that played as desperate as Auburn did and in Neville Arena, but certainly it's going to take that effort, I think, most to beat the majority of the SEC this year.
I liked the guy, we talk about Keyshawn Hall, Keyshawn Murphy, they played well. Pettiford, I don't know. But I liked John Calipari after the I like this kid when he's healthy. He was talking about Philip Jovich. He called him the big white kid. He gets in there, he cracks a few heads and everything. I like that guy, Brian. Nope. He may have
might have locked up.
I'm back.
Yeah, there you go.
I tried to connect to my phone. They're doing construction in the neighborhood, so they probably messed up the internet here. But I'm connected to my phone now. So
okay, great.
The question about Philip Jovich, the guy John Calipari called him the big white kid in the post game deal. And that kid will come in. He reminds me of Longshore and Church League, man. He'll get in there and he'll shake things up now.
Oh yeah.
Stephen Pearl compared to a spider because he gets so low in his stance on defense. I'm not sure if me or John or you, Barry, could quite bend our knees like that anymore. It'd be tough. Might be painful. But every time he steps on the floor, he gets better to me. He's just that type of player. He's one of those guys that hustles all the time, plays his tail off. Teammates love him, and he's got some real skill inside. He's got some terrific moves. He can handle the basketball pretty well. And the one thing I think that you're going to see him add to his repertoire here in the coming weeks or maybe later in the season is starting to shoot a little bit more from outside, because I think he has that. I just don't think he's shown it quite yet.
Okay, Brian, I'll go ahead and jump into the portal conversation.
Oh, boy.
And I thought about this yesterday, and I thought, I want to ask Brian his thoughts about this. In this day and age of college football in particular, what's more important, high school recruiting or portal recruiting?
I don't have a great answer. I think more people are beginning to think that the best way to build a team is to sign a smaller high school class and go sign, as many good veteran, experienced portal guys to fill in your team. And I think that is the direction that Auburn is moving, at least for now. I think teams that are capable of, winning each year and signing these top 10 classes every year and retaining them because of the culture they have and because of the winning, there are a handful of teams out there that can do that right now. That's the best way to go. I mean, I'd rather have a great player for 3 years and have him rent him for a year or two, Yeah. But
as we talked about earlier, in what we're going through now, can teams afford to teach and develop and mentor high school kids to hopefully get them to that level? Or should they go, well, I know this guy can play. I've seen him. I've seen him on tape. He's plug and play.
Yeah. I think that's very, very good point. You look at Auburn, Malik Blockton, started here for 2 years, learned, got better, went through the strength and conditioning program, got bigger, stronger, and now he's going to LSU for his best year, his third year in college, right? And you could say that about Jay Crawford and Kyan Lee. Of course, Kyan, I think, was here 3 years, but that's what you risk when you bring in some of these top guys and they leave after, a couple of years, right, and go somewhere else and give that other school their best years of college football. So I think there is definitely a debate out there now, and I think Auburn is in the position at the moment of they need to emphasize the portal over high school recruiting at the moment. But if I'm Ohio State, if I'm Georgia, I guess if I'm Indiana now, Miami, you look at those two that defensive line and offensive line was mostly high school players, I believe.
Yeah.
At least those ends were.
Yeah.
I'm still going out there and trying to sign a great high school class and supplementing with the portal.
A couple of interesting things about the portal from Auburn. They get a signing from a quarterback from Washington State.
Yep.
I always wonder about that because, it's like we were questioning, the signing of Ashton Daniels last year. Why is he coming to Auburn when he knows Jackson Arnold's going to start? Kind of worked out for him, but there he goes again. Bryson Washington. The quarterback from Washington State comes to Auburn. He knows Byron Brown's going to start. Bryson Washington comes in, really good running back from Baylor. Jeremiah Cobb's already there. Any level of surprise about all of that, Brian?
Well, I knew that Auburn was going to go and try to strengthen that running back room. That was going to be more of an emphasis for the offense of this coming up season. I'm surprised that Auburn got the caliber of a running back as Bryson Washington to come in and compete with Cobb. They also got the USF running back Nakai Davenport too, who's a good little runner. So I think that room is so much better. And I think in today's football world, you want a couple of backs that can share the load and be good players out there, and not just rely on one guy who can get banged up, who get injured, who gets worn down as the season goes on. So I think that's a great move. In fact, if I look at Auburn's portaling so far, I think they're better at tight end, definitely better at running back, better at quarterback. They've helped out the nickel room with the kid from USF. I think they're getting there in the offensive line room. They're making a lot of progress there. I think Cole Best, center they got from USF, is a really nice pickup just because got a lot of experience as a starter, knows this offense, is a good leader. You need a guy like that to go along with the quarterback from USF like Byron Brown. So that was a really nice pickup. Still got to work on the defensive line. That's the biggest area. Also think they've done well at cornerback to replace Kai and Jay Crawford too.
Brian, there's been some talk that we're going to expand the college football playoff some more. I've heard 16 with the possibility of 24 in a couple of years. You have any thoughts on that?
I'm all for 16. Even though I kind of snickered at Notre Dame getting left out, they were certainly capable of being in the playoffs and winning, right? Maybe not this year make the case that 16 teams could win it, but I think there will be years because I think every year we move forward through NIL and transfer portaling, the talent gets spread out more and more, and there's more teams out there capable of getting hot and making a run, as Miami has done here, as Ole Miss did. I think 16 is a great number. I just want to get rid of the bowls in the playoffs and have those games at home fields on college campuses.
Yeah,
that's what makes college football special. And the conference commissioners and presidents need to get over this bowl thing and start, having playoff games in Tuscaloosa and Auburn if Auburn can ever get good, and in Oxford, Mississippi. That's where these.
The NFL does it until the Super Bowl.
Yep.
I mean, they're playing at home until the Super Bowl, and they want to make it like so much like the NFL. I'm with you. Just to be clear, you mentioned bowls. You said get rid of the bowls. You're talking about like the non-playoff bowls?
No, not necessarily. No, as long as teams want to play in those and people want to watch them and TV wants to pay for them and it makes money, great. Let's have them. But I do think there is waning a little bit of interest there. I know that there's a lot of people that still love it, but I do think the playoff is where it's at.
One of my subjects of always great interest, and I'm looking forward to it. Am I right? Preseason practice began yesterday for Auburn baseball?
Yep, I was out there. Really just watching was a lot of infield and bunting and just the fundamentals on day one that you will use on the final day when you're in the World Series. Hopefully, if you're Auburn, we'll see. But it started. The season starts February 13th, so we got over 4 weeks to go. Auburn, top 10 in the couple polls I've seen, number 9 in D1 baseball. I think they're going to be a really good team. They have a lot of depth in the lineup. They just got to sort of define some roles in the pitching staff and see if some guys can step up into that number 1, number 2 starting roles. That's the big question for this team going forward.
Okay, I'll put you on the spot then, Brian. For our fans who are maybe thinking about baseball in the spring and what's it going to look like, who's Auburn's best player?
Chris Rimbert, I would have to say he's the guy that's probably going to be the highest draft pick from that guy. He plays second, play outfield, hit with power, hit into the gaps, run, do a lot of great things. I think Chase Fralick is a great just hitter and catcher. These are both guys that were freshmen last year that played. They've got some more really good, talented players too. Eric Guevara, when he's healthy, is terrific. Cade Ballou, when he's healthy, is a stud in the outfield. You know, they've got plenty of talent up and down the lineup. I haven't mentioned a pitcher there, so that's the one area where they've got a bunch of, I think, quality arms, but I just don't know who is like a number one starter or a top closer or a guy that can throw 3 innings on SEC weekend on Friday and come back and throw 2 more on Sunday. I just don't know exactly who those guys are yet.
Well, excellent stuff as always. Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com. If you haven't checked out the corner, check that out. That's pretty cool. Plus all of the bells and whistles and stuff with the transfer track and all of the resources from On3 and Rivals at auburnsports.com.
Are you expecting any fireworks between now and when the portal window closes?
Any player leaving would be a surprise to me. So that would be a firework, I guess. I think they're pretty much done with that area. I do think Auburn has to make some big moves on the defensive line. They just don't have enough, and they don't have enough talent, I don't think, to play this fall. So there's got to be some fireworks there. So we'll see. And I do think they need to add at least one more offensive lineman, maybe 2. We'll see. But the line of scrimmage is the big area of need right now for this Auburn team.
There you go. auburnsports.com. How do people become a part of it, Brian?
Yeah, check us out, auburnsports.com. Blowout coverage of all the portaling, the ups, the losses, the incoming players. It's just an hourly by minute thing right now. Doing a great job with that, with not just reporting it, but giving analysis of those players when they do commit to Auburn. And, of course, plenty of basketball coverage, baseball now starting back up. All that more, auburnsports.com. Follow me on Twitter /X at BMattAU.
Awesome, Brian. Appreciate you. Thanks a bunch.
Appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir. Talk next week. Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com. Check him out. Great coverage of everything that's going on. Football, baseball, basketball. We touched on them all today. Portal news. A lot going on. As I was listening to Brian about defensive line, they need some help there, and he thinks every team seems to need as many defensive and offensive linemen as you can get. I kind of thought, my mind wandered a little bit, Barry. I went back to Tuscaloosa as I was listening to Brian talk, and I was thinking with the players that have left Alabama, one particular player that they thought they were going to get, they didn't lock him down, and he ended up in Austin, Texas, which I think would have been a big boost. Is Alabama getting better? I mean, with the guys that have left compared to the guys that have come in so far, I'm talking to you, Bama fan. Do you have the feeling like, man, January 13th, I feel so much better about our team today than I did a week ago, 2 weeks ago?
Did you see that guy that we got? I know we lost Quay, and we lost James Smith, and we lost Keelan Keeley, and we lost whomever. But, man, did you see who we got? Boy, that guy, is there one of those?
Yeah, I mean, I don't get the sense that Bama, maybe I should, feel the room by going to Tighter Insider message board and see what they're talking about.
Well, see, you got to kind of put all this into perspective.
Yeah. And
John and I don't have any perspective, like at Auburn. I've told you this before. I don't know most of these guys, and John doesn't know any of these guys. And are we to say that, hey, John and Barry, you guys are sleeping on this kid that Alabama signed? I probably am. But you look at Auburn, and I'm looking at a list here, and Brian, of course, works with On3 and Rivals. Yeah. the ratings of some of these Auburn signees out of the portal? Quarterback Lachlan Hewlett, who backed up Byram Brown. He signed at Auburn before Byram Brown signed.
Oh,
and
wow.
they got this other quarterback from from Oregon State. Lachlan Hewlett, some perspective on him. Okay. On 3, which is Brian's website parent.
Yeah.
The number 1,878 player in the portal. In the portal.
Yeah.
He's the number 126 quarterback.
Barry,
There's 134 teams out there. Are you telling me every team has a better quarterback than this guy that
That's like QBR. I mean, don't let numbers, cloud your judgment. Now, my man Jeff, when I made that statement, he goes, Bama's instantly better with the departure of Whiffin Formby. Is this going to be the punching bag the whole spring and summer?
He brings that, him and Ty Simpson for some reason. It's like, we were talking about, something earlier, and way offsides, Jeff says, I'm with you, Barry. Just show me the roster in the spring, and let's go.
Is Wilkin Formby become the modern day Dolly Madison? Is he the punching
bag? The
guy
started 13 games, I don't get it. I really don't. It makes no sense that, if Ty Simpson goes somewhere else,
so what?
In college, I mean, for like $4 or $5 or $6 million, does that maybe make some Alabama fans wonder a little bit? Hey, Miami's offering him 6. Gosh, what do they see? Maybe we shouldn't be so hard on him. Maybe we should have done something to.
Well, I would not blame Ty Simpson if he went to Miami. Believe me, I'd go for $6.5 million. I mean, I use the Auburn analogy. If they're going to pay me, I'm in. What time do I need to be over there today? I mean, let's sign the deal. But I wouldn't blame him. But I've said my say about Ty Simpson. Great representative for the school, had a great career, but time for him to move on.
But with I'm doing it. Wilkin Formby. The guy got, this was during last offseason. I mean, the year before last, they were raking him over the coals. And by they, I mean the fans of his own team.
Yeah.
We got to get that guy out of there. He doesn't belong. He looks lost.
Look, it's tough putting that crimson jersey on, Barry. If you're not producing, the fans are going to let you know about it.
But during the offseason where hope springs eternal, it's like, Wilkin Formby has gotten much better. He has turned a corner and everything.
In the miracle.
First 3 or 4 games and everything. Why in the world are we even playing him?
I mean, Barry, I can throw Caden Proctor in there as well. I mean, that guy couldn't block a fast edge rusher if his life depended on it.
Maybe. I mean, Bama fans, have you ever had a player that you dog? I know you all have, and then later on you say, I was wrong about that guy. Has that ever happened? Caden Proctor, look it up, is the Jacobs Award winner for the best blocker in the Southeastern Conference this year. Is everybody else wrong and you're right?
Did they not see the tape? I mean, how many times did you see an athletic edge defender just whip right around old Caden Proctor, the old lay block? Am I the only one that saw that? I mean,
evidently, whoever it is that votes, for the SEC Jacobs Award winner.
Yeah. I mean, how many times am I watching a Bama game and ding, 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 ding? What do they want now? Click. 74 sucks. Get him out of the game. If I had $1 for every time I got a text with that,
but that don't mean it's right. That doesn't make it the truth.
I mean,
oh man, all of my buddies are telling me, did you see that guy? He looks like a matador out there. So therefore, it's the gospel according to John's cell phone,
The tape doesn't lie. I mean, I saw the guy whiff so many times, and there's Ty Simpson on his back or running for his life or throwing it in the third row. And maybe I'm being too tough on Ty. Maybe if he had some better guys protecting him, Ty would look like a Heisman Trophy winner. Heck, he's out there running for his life, getting hurt, cracking ribs, getting knocked in the next week. Thanks, Caden. Thanks, Whiffen or Wilkin, whatever your name is.
He's messed you up too. From
So,
here on out.
you know,
I remember
we
one
need a-
time we were on the road somewhere and somebody asked John, who is that defensive back that used to dog all the time? He couldn't think of Anthony Madison's first name because he just knew him as Dolly Madison, which is the name of a cupcake company or something like that.
And
he couldn't think of it.
Look, until Saban arrived, there were a lot of DBs that I was on their case.
Yeah.
John Magnum, I saw him in a Bears uniform. I'm thinking, you got to be kidding me. This guy's in the NFL?
He was in the NFL forever. He played in the NFL for like a double pension or something.
There was some one of the Good brothers played for the Colts. I'm thinking
Chris Good.
He played for Alabama. What?
There's a lot of guys like that. You're saying, wait a minute, he played?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember him. He's the one that gave up the long touchdown pass to some scrub from Wake Forest or something like that. You know,
John Mangum gave up a big pass. I think it was against Michigan in the Hall of Fame Bowl or something.
And
I'm really dating myself now. Now hold the presses here. Wait a minute. No way. The Lady Tide is 17-1.
That is true.
No.
They beat Missouri.
No way.
Yesterday. Number one, it's not the Lady Tide.
Sure it is.
Number two, Rick Moody hasn't been there. He hadn't walked through that door in a long time. Christy Curry is the coach.
17-1.
Yep.
Way to go, Greg Byrne.
Yep.
Nice.
This is
Catesman, I did not know that.
Well, yeah, they played Missouri yesterday. Missouri was good. Alabama beat the snot out of them. They are a couple of things. No,
is
Rick
Ashley
Moody
Barker
is not
still on the team?
That was the other one. I knew that. Number one, women's basketball. Is Rick Moody still there? And is Jay Barker's little girl still on the team? No, she's in the WNBA.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, so we have just tapped out John's frame of reference for
Hold on. Have they gotten in a fight yet? I mean, this team knows how to
against
fight.
the Albs 18 years ago.
Hair pulling, slapping, scratching. Look, and you're 17-1 and another team gives you some crap, you get in a fight. You just let them know who's the big girl on the court.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to tell you, maybe I need to do a little bit more research. I had no clue the Lady Tide was 17-1. No way. Well, by the way, what are the Lady Albs? What's their record?
See, and there's the other one. Now we've completed the entire circle of Alabama basketball. They got in a fight with Auburn one time, and I know we're doing great, but how are we doing in comparison to Auburn?
Yeah,
I didn't
the Lady
Albs
do it. Yeah.
The point just is crying out to be made that Alabama women's basketball is the most successful program going currently at the University of Alabama. Nobody wearing that fabled crimson uniform is doing better than Alabama women's basketball.
How about that?
It's a women's basketball school.
Yeah, way too. Now Dennis is. Did we bring up Gordon Gecko today? Well, where is Dennis going with the Gordon Gecko reference today?
Yep.
He says greed is not good. Gordon Gecko is not a good role model.
John's like, wait a minute. Oh, that's crazy talk. Gordon Gecko is not a good role model? Yeah, being greedy. I think that's one of the.
Ask Bud Fox. He'll tell you he's not a good role model.
Yeah. Dennis also said something about Abdullah the Butcher turning 85 or something.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Glad to know that. Abdullah the Butcher.
Yeah. Anyway, we appreciate everybody on the chat line. As a matter of fact, I got to admit, I get usually in the green room early just to make sure everything's good to go and everything, and log in and everything. And my feelings would be hurt if I logged in and we didn't have like at least 18 chats already going on the chat.
Sometimes I think Jeff was the first chatter today. He started the thing off at like 6 o'clock this morning.
Normally it's Ty. And first thing Jeff says at what, 6:07. We go on the air at 7.
Yeah.
Jeff at 6:07 says, holy cow, did I beat Ty? And Jeff said, and Ty says, yep, Jeff, today's show wasn't up when I checked earlier this morning, but you are the first.
Way to go, Jeff. Good job. Now, I will say this from a programming note. if Barry's talking and you might hear me chuckle in the background, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm laughing at something he has said.
That means John's not paying attention to what I'm saying or anything. That happened all the time on the radio when I couldn't see him. All of a sudden, I'd be talking about something pretty serious, and John would be laughing, and I'd say, "Put the phone down, John. Put it down.
I'm actually
Focus
looking
on the show that we're currently on." Somebody, one of his buddies, would have some rib tickler about the Aubs and everything, and John just like, poof.
Well, no, and I still get those. We still really appreciate all of the exclusive VIP text hotline contributors that send the good stuff, the little rib ticklers and some info. But also with the chat line, there's a lot of funny stuff that comes across it, like Tobias saying he bets the Alabama women's team could out-rebound the men. Yeah.
Well, they're tougher.
Think my church team could out-rebound the men's team.
But they're more physical, I mean, you ought to be able to out-rebound them as well. So,
yeah, that's a good point, Tobias. Yeah. Gee, they cannot rebound. Nate Oates is not happy.
Let's take a break. When we come back, Travis Ryer on YouTube will join us. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry is Central Alabama's best-known jewelry store. Their location at 8163 Vaughn Road in Peppertree is conveniently located adjacent to Chappie's Deli. At Marguerite's, they have every jewelry item imaginable because they make it. They really make it. From rings, necklaces, bracelets, earrings, and much, much more. Marguerite's can also repair, clean, and rework any jewelry item that you want to bring back to life. Whether you're on a budget or have no budget at all, Marguerite's has all types of jewelry for everyone. Go by and see them today or call 270-0074.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level, and the stakes, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Montgomery Regional Airport is getting better the more you use it. MGM offers multiple nonstop daily flights to Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas-Fort Worth, and Washington's Reagan National Airport via Delta and American Airlines. And beginning this April, MGM will offer daily nonstop flights to Houston's Intercontinental Airport via United Airlines. All of these cities offer easy connections to destinations all over the country and all over the world. Make travel more cost-effective and less stressful when you utilize your Montgomery Regional Airport. MGM, you can get there from here. Okay, welcome back in, everybody. A couple of minutes past the hour. Travis Ryer on YouTube, Talking Tide, will join us here momentarily. Tough loss for his Jags on Sunday. Tough loss, I guess, for Barry as well, watching the Jags lose that one. There again, I think they should have let Buffalo score earlier.
Just say off. Well, just one play. One play is all. We'll talk about that. I want John to put on his athletic director hat.
Oh, love doing that. Yeah.
Pretend you're Greggy, Marmalard, and the rest of them. Well, this is what the gist is. And tell me if this number makes sense, because there was a release out about a story out about Alabama and their NIL or their revenue sharing or whatever. Alabama men's basketball, they split approximately $2.9 million in revenue sharing fund. Remember, every revenue share is what the school can pay, right? Yeah. It's not the NIL stuff. The school can pay directly now this year. And you get like $20 million that the school can pay. That's the cap. Basketball gets about $2.9 million. That's about 14% of the school's total rev share contribution. That's according to the Tuscaloosa News. Shout out to Emily Smart. Now, that doesn't include NIL deals, the actual, hey, I'm Ty Simpson, we're here at Buffalo Wild Wings or something.
Yeah.
But 14% of the money that Alabama can spend directly on its student athletes goes to men's basketball. That's $2.9 million. It can go to whomever on the basketball. Does that sound about right, or is that too much, or should they get nothing?
Actually, it sounds a little
own?
low. I mean, 2.9 million just seems a little low when you're looking at, football. But there again, football generates the most money. I would think Alabama basketball has generated money, particularly with the runs into the NCAA tournament. I know on the surface, Bear, without really digging deep, it sounds a little low, but there again, math was never my forte.
One other point. Crimson Tide AD Greg Gurn previously noted that Alabama structures its allocation of settlement funds, its allocation of the $20 million. They structure it based on revenue generated by each sport.
Boom.
With 6 Alabama teams getting some shares of that $20 million. They don't split it evenly, obviously. Nobody makes,
But Barry, I can't imagine there's six sports that are making money. 2 of them,
or they're losing less money than everybody else.
That's probably a good way to put
sports
it.
at Alabama get revenue sharing money. 15 sports don't get a dime at Alabama.
I like that subject. I'm going to get into that deeper moment later on. But right now, our man Travis Ryer on YouTube, Talking Tide, joining us here today on the program as he does each and every Tuesday. Hey, Travis, how's it going this morning?
Doing well. How about you guys?
Well, I would have been better if Josh Allen hadn't made a throw out of his derriere when he was getting smacked to move the ball downfield, get them into position. That's so painful, Travis, the way that game ran, the way that game meandered along until its unhappy conclusion, Jags losing to the Bills.
Yeah, I mean, that was the concern all along, was that you felt like going into that game, the Jags were more balanced across the board in terms of offense, defense, special teams. But you knew Josh Allen loomed. And if the opportunity presented itself in the fourth quarter, of the 2 quarterbacks in that game, who were you going to ride with? You were going to ride with 17 and White. He is the epitome for that team right now of a puncher's chance. And that's what he is, and he keeps punching. And he also had the sneak that went about 13 yards after one of his offensive linemen carried him down to about the 1. But, hey, a good season for the Jags. I think the Jags returned to the window that they never should have left. I mean, they shouldn't have been out of their window for the last 2 years. So positive to see them back in the window with Trevor Lawrence, where championships are concerned, or at least competitiveness and viability for AFC South Division championships. And they need to build on it.
Obviously, I've never coached a down in the NFL, but I was putting on my coaching hat Sunday afternoon, and Barry and I talked about this yesterday, and it goes back to a game years and years ago that I brought it up. Just let them score. Let them score so you can get the ball back. And as I'm watching that last drive, I'm thinking, seeing the clock, we're tick, tick, tick. Jags are calling timeouts. My question, Travis, should Jacksonville have maybe let them score earlier so they could have gotten the ball back, and Trevor's not in maybe such a rush, no timeouts, got to go 50 yards to get into field goal range? I think if you give him more time and maybe not pressing as much, maybe gives him a better chance. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, there's always things in retrospect that you can point to. There was the 4th and 2 from the 9 where Liam Cohen goes for it down there. They don't make it. If they kick the field goal, these coaches these days, they are just, if you even mention field goal to these coaches are not going for it on 4th down, it's like you better have an EpiPen ready. They're going to break out.
Your boy was screaming at the televiation.
I mean, take the point.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it every time, but, and it's not just Liam Cohen. You watch any game right now, it's like, they think there's 5 downs now, and 4th is 3rd. 4th is the new 3rd down, basically. So, there were things. I thought the Bills helped them. Once they got down there to the 1 with a minute left or whatever. I know they had to get into the end zone, so I understand first available opportunity. If you're down 4 instead of 3, you're going to take that. But at that point with Allen at quarterback and you're at the 1, I felt like they could have fell down on it at the 1, let the clock run down even more. Then they still would have had 3 shots, to get into the end zone from the 1. So I think they helped the Jags from that perspective. But sure, there's different things that you can sort of point to, and I think Liam is still getting there as a head coach. Did a great job in year 1. I don't think the Jags would trade him for anybody right now. But again, overall, a positive run for the Jags.
Let's talk a little Alabama football. If you can give as big a perspective as you want to give from a football sense of the losses in the portal, the Quay Rousseaus and the James Smiths and the Keon Keeleys and all of that. How does that feel how does all that strike you in terms of just pure football players out of the door?
Yeah, I think, good football players. I thought that Keon Keeley was sort of on that Chris Braswell track, or even Yanzi Pierre, to use a current player, where, it was going to take a couple of 3 years of development for him to kind of get to a spot where he could be a consistent contributor on the defensive side of the ball. So, in positional value, it's like the NFL now. If you hit free agency, if you're an edge guy, if you're a pass rusher, defensive tackle, you're going to have a very strong market. And I think we've seen that with Keon Keeley now at Notre Dame. We saw it with James Smith and Quay Rousseau both going to Ohio State. Do I think Quay Rousseau and James Smith had really scratched the top of their ceilings while they were at Alabama? No. But there's no denying that the traits and attributes you want are there. I think consistency is the question with both of them, and hopefully they hit those marks when they get to Columbus. But no, I thought there would be a very, very welcoming market for guys like that, and that's kind of proven to be the case. You think about guys like Isaiah Horton landing at Texas A&M from the wide receiver position. So not a surprise there, but it's kind of college football, college athletics 2026. And this is the world we live in. And, Alabama's approach is going to be interesting because what we've continued to hear is that it's not going to be, I think, even in the words of Greg Byrne, a driver in the market when it comes to, the financials that we're seeing with some other places right now. So, you're telling me that, boy, development of what you recruit and who you bring in is going to be paramount, and you're still going to have that mix of transfer portal guys. And I thought it was ultimately a good Monday for UA yesterday. Ty Haywood, the tackle from Michigan, they get a commitment from Noah Rogers, the wide receiver from NC State, and my new favorite player, the kicker from Ireland, Lorcan Quinn.
Lorcan, the Irish guy.
Yeah. I mean, gotta be an NIL deal with Innisfree, right? Coming up for Lorcan. You would think that's
a good
slam
point.
dunk.
Is that the mustache guy? Did I see his picture? He's going.
Yeah, he had a pretty good stash. I mean, he's 24-year-old.
He's
going into his sophomore year. So
he transferred in from Marshall, so I've seen him before. That kid's got a cannon on his leg.
Beautiful, love it.
Yeah.
So Travis, I'm watching Talking Tide yesterday. Excellent episode. I want to certainly recommend to all of our viewers and listeners to check that out because I did some great content yesterday. Really enjoyed it. But it led me to write down a question that I wanted to ask you. You just kind of hit on it just a moment ago. What's more important these days, high school recruiting or portal recruiting?
I think it depends on who you ask. I don't think you have a choice but to have a strong presence in the portal. And that doesn't necessarily mean you've got to just go by the list of the services and say, okay, well, here's the top 10 transfer prospects, and we got to go after these 10 guys. You have to, it's similar to recruiting, you better have it nailed in terms of evaluation as far as the people that really fit your concepts, and also intangibly of who you want to be or what you are on a day-to-day basis. So there's more on these personnel departments than ever before. And there are these personnel departments. So there are ways to do this. And Alabama, obviously, with Courtney Morgan, is regarded to have a strong one. But if you're working on again the sort of approach that you're not going to, really try to go all in with NIL and all those things, it's still you're going to have to nail evaluations, both on the high school level and then I think from a developmental perspective, you don't have 3 years with these high school kids anymore. So that takes away from, to me, the carrot of high school recruiting because they can leave after a month or 6 months, or they can, the transfer portal's been condensed to one. Okay. But still, it's a year that you might have instead of 3. You were almost guaranteed 3 years before the portal came into existence the way it is now. You don't have that now.
And I wonder, you mentioned development. Can schools afford to devote the time and money and effort to develop a player with the fear, well, this guy might leave? And I've heard coaches talk about it. I don't know how it would get done, but these guys, if we're going to commit to you, you've got to commit to us for at least, say, 2 years. Just so maybe they can develop these players, or maybe get them in a position where they'll want to stay their entire career. Do you think that ever happens where if you come to our school, you've at least got to be here for X amount of time?
I don't know how you do the multi-year approach, in terms of contractually. I think a lot of the players and their representatives like the current setup of, go hit this place for a year and kind of bet on yourself, and kind of like a 1-year deal right now in the NFL, a prove it deal. Now, if you're able to get the money, absolutely, to an astronomical level, and it sounds like some places are already starting to do this, then sure, you might be able to secure a multi-year commitment. But as it sits right now, for most of the players out there, I don't think that's going to be the case. So you're still going to have, it feels like a lot of these moves are just, moving the deck furniture around. I mean, it's you lose this guy, but you really go get the same guy to come in and replace him. And so, I think that's what we're going to continue to see for most of the positions and most of the guys in college football right now. I mean, like Alabama loses James Smith, but then it goes and gets Devin Tompkins from USC. To me, that felt like for like. So it's kind of the game we're playing.
Yeah, of course, Travis covers Alabama with Talking Tide on Ryer on YouTube. No Sleep Teal, he covers the Jags in the NFL. What are the parameters that Ty Simpson's looking at? His dad says that every return grade he's gotten from NFL people is that he'd be a first-round pick. But if he goes into the portal, the reports are $6 million, $5 million, but that's 1 year less in the NFL and 1 year less to your pension and 1 year less to doing what you want to do. What's he dealing with here in his decision making?
It's a great question. It's been fascinating to see the information continue to trickle out from the Simpson camp, as we saw here most recently, what he made last year at Alabama, what could be available for him on the portal market. And I don't dispute any of that. I mean, we saw what Miami apparently was willing to throw at Carson Beck, right? So I could see something pretty astronomical for Ty if it played out that way. And I talked about this on my show yesterday. It just feels like the representation in the camp for Ty is doing their job right now. It's I mean, I'm not disputing what we heard from Jason Simpson, Ty's father, about first round grade, everybody in the first round. But it all goes back to, okay, if you want to be a little bit of a cynic, that the message also to some of these schools that are still pushing maybe about where the portal is concerned. Okay, well, first round money is where it starts for Ty if you want him to come out of the NFL draft and back into college football and the portal. And also a little bit of, well, Alabama, he made $800,000 last season, but there's teams out there willing to offer him $6.5 million. And, Alabama isn't going to go there, I don't think, for Ty Simpson. So it's just, again, it's kind of bizarre in a way, but it's just you talk about a totally open market right now for college football players. It is. I mean, there's nothing really restricting the movement. There's nothing restricting the negotiations. And he's in a good spot. I do think if he stays in the draft, all it takes is one team in the first round. That you don't need all 32 to
That's
give you a
right.
first round
Yeah.
grade. You just need one. And then also, well, until that paperwork for the NFL is in, which is still a couple of days away from having to be in, he's got plenty of options out there.
I wonder, though, a couple of things about Ty that I wonder about. First of all, would it benefit Alabama to pay Ty Simpson to bring him back for another year, or should they move on with Austin Mack and Keelan Russell?
I think right now, when you look at them roster wide with the departures they had, they've got to, and they're not going to be, in their own words, a driver. What funds they have, they've got to allocate across that roster right now. I think. I don't think they're in a position now. A year ago, if you had the sort of mass return like you had, when everybody thought that was a great thing, I didn't necessarily think it was a great thing, because to me it says if everybody's coming back after you lost 4 games, maybe it's because everybody feels really, really comfortable at Alabama right now. And that should never be the case at
Right.
Alabama, in my opinion.
That's a great
It's not
point.
a place where comfortability should be a thing, or contentment. There should be some turnover at Alabama, because Alabama shouldn't be for everybody. And so we kind of have seen that this year. But with that, now you've got to allocate what you do plan to spend, I think, more across the board. And I think Ty is a really good quarterback. His NFL future, I'm kind of in the middle on all that. I'm not totally sure how that's going to work out. Maybe
So that kind of,
he could be the next Brock Purdy, for all we know. That's the guy I could see him being, maybe.
yeah.
I don't think he's Drew Brees, but maybe he's Brock Purdy.
So that kind of goes into my next point. And I don't know how closely you follow Miami and their NIL, but my first thought was, if Miami is willing to pay Ty Simpson $6.5 million, they must be settled and happy with every other position that they've got, because they're using a big chunk of money for Ty Simpson. What's that leave for every other position out there? I mean, you just kind of touched on that with Alabama. Can they afford to pay $6.5 million? Probably not, because they got some other areas they need to focus on.
Correct.
To me, it leads me to believe that Miami seems to think they're loaded everywhere else.
Yeah, well, I think their NIL partnerships are a little bit different, than some other places, kind of like Texas Tech right now, and some other programs. Even Indiana now with Mark Cuban, and some of the setup they've got. And Indiana is a good case study in this, because I think Indiana, and we'll see how this plays out once all these COVID eligibility years and these 7th years and everything else we see. Indiana's kind of taken the basketball approach of get old, stay old. And that's what they are. Indiana's old, and so you can say, well, they don't have a lot of 5-stars, but you know what? They got plenty of 24-year-old 3-stars. And in a sport like football, give me the damn 24-year-olds against the 19-year-olds. Because if you don't know the difference between a 19-year-old man and a 24-year-old man, your ass has never been in a tavern brawl.
Yeah. I never heard it quite put that way. But that's a great way.
That's not wrong. Not wrong. Travis Ryer on YouTube is the YouTube channel. Talking Tide, second helping, no sleep teal. Was it on was it on Talking Tide that Chase Goodbread put it on social media. He said Isaiah Horton, big great hands, made some big catches, terrible blocker.
That's absolutely the truth, and we've talked about it on Talking Tide. And I saw it from game one. It's not that he's a terrible blocker. It's that he's not really willing to engage.
He's not all that interested in it. Yeah.
So if you're not going to block, you better be Randy Moss.
Yeah.
And that's not Isaiah, and that's not to say
he's blocking more like Kate Moss, I think.
And it's like, and I mean, Chase has told me he's asked Jamarcus Shepard, the Alabama wide receivers coach, the previous coach, now the head coach at Oregon State, right in front of Isaiah about Isaiah's blocking. And Isaiah still doesn't block, So it's not like Isaiah hadn't heard it from Jamarcus Shepard. It's not like he hadn't heard it from the media or anyone else. It's just, it's not his thing. But look, the guy is a really good outside receiver. I'm sure he'll go for 200 plus against Alabama next year, now that we've talked about it. But, I just don't think in its totality he's a major loss. I think Noah Rogers coming in from NC State, you kind of getting that guy on the outside. And from what I've seen of Noah Rogers, he'll at least look for work as a blocker instead of just looking out.
Yes.
Well, I'm glad
we'll
to
see how that
know
goes.
that people are recognizing wide receivers that can or cannot block, because I caught a lot of criticism, Travis, years ago when I pointed out, man, look at Julio Jones downfield blocking. Yeah. And Barry rolled his eyes and said, downfield blocking?
That's why Julio lasted so long in the league, was because
the guy can block.
Well, and look, if Devontae Smith is a hell of a blocker, and you're Isaiah Horton, and you're not, then you might need some introspection.
Touche.
Conversation between Chase Goodbread and Travis Ryer.
That's what you get on Talking Tide. I love it.
That's exactly right. Ryer on YouTube. The content is great. How do people get involved, Travis?
Yeah, we're right there on YouTube. It's Ryer on YouTube is the channel. We do Talking Tide. We do TR in the AM randomly, I guess, depending on when I wake up. We do No Sleep Till. We talk some NFL. We will have some transfer portal talk coming up a little bit later this morning on the channel, so be on the lookout for that.
All right.
And so it's right there at Ryer on YouTube, right there on YouTube.
Excellent stuff. And on, as you see at the scroll at the bottom of our screen on social media, it's at Ryer on YouTube. Appreciate you very much. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Hi, buddy. Thank you, Travis. Great stuff as always. Travis Ryer on YouTube. Yeah, Barry, I was checking out Talking Tide yesterday.
Yeah.
It's great because I was doing some work, but I was able to have it on and listen at the same time. So it was great. And I recommend everybody taking a look and listen to that.
A lot of our people do that. I mean, they put us on their big screen, or they put us, they'll put a laptop in the bedroom or something like that, and they're not looking at us all the time.
No,
but they're listening, and we appreciate that.
I see on the clock it's 27 minutes past the hour, so I guess when we come back from this break, we gotta look at the dog, I guess.
Oh, how painful that must have really. That's like that scene in 48 Hours when Eddie Murphy's character opens up the car door out on the street and Luther gets flips him. He says, "Oh, Luther, that looked real painful."
Yeah.
Oh, last night must have felt real painful.
But it was tough.
More to come in a moment.
Mama said there'd be days like this.
There'd be days like this, Mama said. Yep, Longshore McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Prattville Carpet is the most trusted name in flooring in the River region. Ray Bowles and his staff have an extensive line of Mohawk, stain-resistant carpeting in all the latest styles and colors. Prattville Carpet also has hardwood, vinyl, and ceramic tile for all of your flooring needs. Professionally installed at the absolute lowest prices. Take advantage of cash and carry vinyl plank at just $239 a foot. Call them today to set up your free measurement for your home, office, lake house, hunting camp, or wherever you need flooring. 285-8117. That's 285-8117, or drop by 2201 Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville for Prattville Carpet.
Hey, bro, weirdest thing is happening at the game. This guy sitting next to me says, "You're our good luck charm. Every time I crack a Bud Light, we score a touchdown." Now his entire family wants to buy me Bud Lights. I think I'm some kind of a football prophet. Talk soon. The team needs me.
Anything for Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Stock up today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to Banking Above and Beyond at River Bank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. River Bank and Trust. All righty, welcome back, everybody. Glad you're with us here. Longshore McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy in association with our good friends at Yellowhammer News and yellowhammernews.com. You can check us out there on their Facebook page. A lot of people do that. We really appreciate it. Also, video content and write-ups about the show each and every afternoon. And you can check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, Spotify, Apple Tunes. So many ways to listen and watch. We greatly appreciate it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Really helps out with the algorithm, they say, which I'm not real sure what that is, but sounds good to me. So Mondays are not tough for Monday nights are tough for me, Barry, with NFL football and Law and Order reruns on BBC America.
Well, and Alabama women's basketball against Missouri. You know, I mean,
was that
what
last
do
night?
you do?
Ooh,
Yeah.
I missed that one. I didn't even see that was even
What
on.
do you
Maybe I
do?
should have.
What do you do? Yeah.
But I'm glad to see they're 17-1. Appreciate the chat line and letting me know that.
All right. Last night was AFC wild card.
And I could tell this thing is dragging along.
Joe Buck,
Slow.
Troy Aikman, even they were talking about how Pittsburgh couldn't get anything done.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, you felt bad for him because he's 41 and he's getting his helmet knocked sideways.
Yeah, I didn't feel
over
sorry
and
for him.
over again by that fabled Houston defense. And it was a snore fest.
Yeah.
I think this was the Phantom's daily dog yesterday.
Yeah, it was.
And I think the Phantom took the over.
Yeah, I did. And it wasn't looking good. I mean, Aaron Rodgers over there
What was
screaming
the
and hollering on the sidelines because a wide receiver didn't run the right route or something. And Joe Buck's going, well, the guy's only like 5'8". You probably couldn't even see him down there, whatever. But
it was, I think the total was 38.
Yeah, it was.
In that game, in the AFC wild card from Pittsburgh.
So, like the
38, that was the daily dog.
Score like 23 points in the
It was 7-6 heading into the fourth. And believe me, the Phantom had already given up on that game. Given up, said, I misfired on this one and all that. But wait.
Yeah.
Here comes Houston. Scoop and score 6.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh still getting anything. They scored 23 points in the fourth quarter. All of a sudden, here we go.
Yeah.
It's 30-6. Holy smokes, I got a chance.
Well, you know, they teased us there.
36. You might as well just have kept it 7-6.
Yeah,
Make
they
it
really
easy on the fan. Why even score 23 in the fourth quarter if you're not going to score 26 and get over the 38?
Yeah.
You know,
that's exactly what I thought. Don't tease me with a barrage of late points in the fourth quarter if you're not going to get over the total. And I wasn't expecting that to happen. I will say this, Barry. If Houston hadn't turned the ball over like 4 times in the first half.
Stupid turnovers.
Awful
looking turnovers.
Maybe this game does go over the total, but you know, those are things that just happen. They just happen. So we took one on the chin in a game that probably didn't have any business getting close to the total anyway. So
but yeah, there you go. Okay.
So there you have it. So tonight, as we move on, and I checked, it's kind of a light card in SEC men's basketball tonight. Only 3 games.
True.
Only 3 games in the SEC, Alabama being one of them. You mentioned busing to Starkville. I think one of the rare bus trips that this team
It ain't but about 50-something miles. It's 8 o'clock tonight.
Does the state trooper ride on the bus with the team, or does he?
Hopefully, in this case, by gosh, the state they probably don't have a state trooper for this one, because you know it's just. I mean, you bus over, you bus back. It's like Wisconsin.
Don't they have like a state trooper escort or something? Doesn't a state trooper like lead the way or something? I want to say I don't know.
No, there's not that much. And Oh, here's the Alabama men's basketball team coming in. Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. And it ain't like the football team or something.
Driving through Starkville. So they play tonight.
So three games, that's one of them.
I believe the Tide is a road favorite tonight.
8.5. No, I'm sorry, 3.5.
Yeah.
Over the Fighting North-Heishes. Yeah.
Interesting. And I know Bart's probably at the game. And we'll talk to Bart Heiss later. Our resident SEC basketball expert.
Okay. The light card in the
Alabama
SEC.
at State. The Tide is a road favorite. Tennessee's a favorite at home, hosting Buckyball A&M at Tennessee tonight. Tennessee a 9.5-point favorite. Florida laying 6.5 at Oklahoma. Oklahoma home dog tonight.
Both of them 11-5 on the year. Gators may have figured some things out. They obliterated Georgia last week. But are any of those they're candidates, I guess, for the Phantom's Daily Dog, but I don't get the sense.
This one, Barry, I find a little interesting. There are a couple of dogs in the NBA tonight, home dogs. One of them being the New Orleans Pelicans, a 2.5-point dog hosting the Denver Nuggets. Didn't the Nuggets win the world title about 2 years ago?
They did on a Nikola Jokic. Nuggets are 13 games over 500. The Pels, however, are 23 games under.
And Denver's only laying 2.5?
Is that what we're doing? Is that
No. This one really surprises me.
All right.
And that one really, that one kind of got me. But I haven't seen the injury report or the roster or the play sheet or the lineup, I guess, if I want to go baseball.
Yeah.
But why in the world
what could this
are the Atlanta Hawks laying 3.5 at the LA Lakers? Lakers at this point are in the Western Conference, and they are in fifth position, 23-14. They have lost 3 in a row, Barry.
Yes, they have. LeBron's kind of a part-time player. In this game, Lakers star Luka Doncic unsure of whether he'll play against the Hawks tonight. Maybe that's it.
Maybe that's it. The Hawks, on the other hand, they're in like 9th place in the Eastern Conference at 20-21. They have won 3 in a row.
Since they traded Trae Young, their franchise player, they traded him to the Wizards.
Yeah.
And they haven't since. I'm just saying.
Well, I think tonight they are. Luka, game time decision. Okay. LeBron, I'm not even sure he's a factor anymore. But laying 3.5 is it still the Staples Center? Where do they play out there?
Heck, I think it's the same thing.
Yeah.
I just don't know what they call any.
It's a late
Acrisure Stadium. What the heck was that? Oh, they play in Crypto.com Arena in LA, which is the Staples Center, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know where you're going to watch this game because NBC's got a doubleheader with San Antonio at OKC, followed by Portland and Golden State. Yes, it is true. NBC has a Tuesday night doubleheader in the NBA. That kind of surprises me. But the Lakers are not going to be on. I'm sure there's probably some cable or satellite you can pick the game up if you're really that interested in it. But, Barry, we're not taking the bait. We are going to take the home team catching points tonight, plus hosting the Atlanta Hawks.
That is the Phantom's Daily Dog.
That is what we like tonight. Barry, we want to say hello to our man Scott.
Yeah.
Who's chimed in on the chat line today.
Scott says, good to hear you guys again. I lived in Prattville from 2007 through 2019. Listened every morning. I wonder where he's living now. Scott Van Diver. He's checking this out on Facebook. He's not watching us on YouTube. He's watching us on Facebook, which is one of several platforms. And you were asking the question earlier, John, about which is more important. You asked that question of Brian Matthews. I asked it of Travis Ryer, high school recruiting or portal recruiting. Scott weighs in and he says, I think you have to have dedicated staff recruiting both. One focus on the portal and have eyes on potential position needs, and the other on getting high school kids. Do you change the style of recruiting and focus on 3-star kids who are going to work hard and not expect NIL money? I'm just seeing more and more 5-star kids who are interested in the money and don't seem to be hard workers once they get on campus. This
I
is
think that's
this
a great
is true.
point, Scott.
He's exactly right. You do have everybody's got a general manager now. For Troy, it's a guy named Drew Casa who is great. They are. I mean,
He's
you're
not
not
related
supposed,
to Taco Casa, is he?
you're not supposed to tamper, or anything like that.
Allegedly.
But you are keeping your eye out for people. You're checking the lay of the land. You're always checking. Of course, because when the transfer portal opens, if you're just now looking at the guys in the transfer portal once they enter then you're far, far, far behind. You got to be checking everybody. And you got staff that does that. Kirby at Georgia has got a huge staff that's all they do is check the transfer portal, check this. Hey, which guy has left this school and would he fit here? But you also, of course, have a dedicated staff dedicated to obviously high school recruiting and high school coaches and maintaining relationships with them. And hey, you got any kids we might be interested in, freshmen, maybe sophomores coming up and all that kind of stuff. So Scott, I think you're dead on. That is a full-time thing. You got guys at major colleges that's all they do. They don't look at film. They don't go to practice, or they don't coach at practice. They don't break down film. All they do is check the portal every morning or check, you see on 3, they have such and such and so says he is going to enter the transfer portal. You mark that guy down, take a look at him. He's a little light for us. That stuff happens.
Well, Barry, I think that, and we've said this before, and it goes back to recruiting. Back in the day when people would, follow recruiting and kind of have pie charts and graphs and all this stuff about the recruits and how it's going to look 2-3 years down the road. That's over. It's every year. You got to get a new roster. You got to get a new lineup card to figure out who's on the team. It's kind of like basketball. When this Auburn and Alabama started playing a month or so ago, I'm going, who are these people? I don't remember any of these guys from last year. And I think you're going to see that a lot in football as well. The years of seeing guys grow and develop and meshing with the other recruiting classes, it's just different. And it's more like the NFL and who is in the open market that we can bring in today that will help us and solidify our tight ends or defensive linemen or secondary or running back room.
Yeah.
That's what it's like. And they're out there scurrying the landscape to find a guy that can play today.
And again, you have to make those value judgments. Do we want a Hollywood Smothers, or whatever, to come in and help us right now? Or, man, we got E.J. Crowell, the high school kid, who I saw him in the championship game. He's all that. But he comes in. Do we play him right away? Because if he doesn't get snaps as a freshman, he may go somewhere else, So you have to make value judgments. Do we want a high school running back that will be good in a couple of years? Or do we want somebody right now who will be gone next year? You have to make those judgments. And you're right. The fans look at it. Next year, Bama fans, you'll see Carmelo O'Neal making plays in the defensive backfield for Alabama.
Yeah.
He transfers into Tuscaloosa from Mercer. Currently ranked number 650 nationally, the number 62 safety in the transfer portal. There are 61 transfer portal safeties who are rated higher than Carmelo O'Neal from Mercer, who is transferring to Alabama. Defensive lineman Kedrick Bingley Jones. You're going to see he spent 2 years at North Carolina, the last 2 years at Mississippi State. You're going to hear Simpson Pepper or Tony Giles or somebody say, gain of 3, tackle made by Bingley Jones. And you're going to look at your buddy and say, who the heck do we have at D tackle? Who is that guy? And you're going to say that about, 10, 12, 15 players every year. Where do we get that guy? He's from what? Bingley Jones?
Sure.
That happens, and you don't build that identification with somebody. Hey, man, I'm just telling you, we got this kid named Paul Otkaruth. He's going to be great. He's redshirting now, but, you'll see him, and you see him as a redshirt freshman. He looks pretty good. Sophomore, a little bit bigger. Junior, all that kind of.
I think
You ain't seeing that anymore.
I think back, Barry, and it wasn't the NIL, and I guess it was transfer, but not like it wasn't the portal. But I remember thinking, Saban's getting a guy from Bowling Green to play wide receiver. Saban's getting a guy from Oregon State to play wide receiver. And these guys were on the field. They played. But I remember when it happened, I'm thinking, do they need those guys? They participated. They contributed. They played. And we never heard of them till they got on the field. But people were going, man, these guys are actually pretty good.
Yeah. Garrick Dieter, that kid made a couple of good catches. He's from daggum Bowling Green. What in the heck are we getting Chris Donnelly from Vanderbilt to play wide receiver, to play defensive back? That kind of stuff. You're going to see it. Do you like it as much? Oh, I remember when that guy was a freshman. Remember that hit he had on kick cover? Oh, that kid was great. Now he's actually, a stud linebacker. You're not seeing that anymore. You're seeing Bingley Jones and Marcus whatever from Mercer, and it's not easy.
What position do you think transfers more than any other?
Got to be quarterback. If for only one reason, the only reason is you can only play one quarterback.
I was thinking wide receiver. Maybe it's just because there's more wide receiver. There's you got 3 or 4 wide receivers that are playing every game. And you usually have 3 or 4 others that are backups. To me, it seems like every year you got multiple wide receivers leaving teams looking to go elsewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe defensive backs too. Maybe those 2 positions. And I get it, quarterback. But usually it's a quarterback that's a second teamer that isn't seeing any time that is moving on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where you see starters that are DBs and wide receivers going, I'm out.
Starters. Yeah, that is a good point. And way offsides, Jeff says wide receiver, probably the easiest transition. Being a lineman is hard. Being a linebacker is hard, I would imagine, because they're responsible for so much. That's a good question. I have to think about that. When we come back, it's the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel.
Yep.
It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level. And the stakes, oh, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
All righty, welcome back in, everybody. Barry might have been on a bathroom break. Who knows? He did have some internet issues earlier today. He'll pop back on in just a moment. We mentioned one of our newer entries into our chat room, Scott, who listened to us years ago, for many years, in Prattville. Says he won a free dessert at Gale's by guessing Longshore's phrase or word of the morning. I actually missed the live part of the show, went with coworkers to Gale's and guessed it. True story. Jake Coker's big toe. He had been in a scuffle. You know, Scott, I do kind of remember that. I thought that was kind of interesting. I'm glad you remembered that. Still go to Gale's and eat lunch. I love it. It is absolutely fantastic. And Scott, glad to have you back a part of what we do here each and every morning. The secret word. Want him a free dessert. Way to go, Scott. Love that. Good stuff. Yeah. Jake Coker's big toe. Did he hurt his toe? I'm trying to remember what that was all about. The secret word.
The only thing that I remember about Big Toe, besides Sergeant Holka, is Eddie Lacy.
Yeah.
You know, there was something on, somebody had a rating of the guys in the NFL who had weird reasons why they never could last in the NFL. You know, Art Schleister, who played at Ohio State, later played for the Colts. He got put in jail because he was an absolute gambling addict. He could not stop, and he ended up losing a bunch of money, and he ended up going to jail. Eddie Lacy just ate himself out of the league. Eddie Lacy was a good back for Green Bay. Great spin move. He was a good, big, strong back, could run, spin move, light on his feet. But he got up to be about 260 or 270. He couldn't move anymore. Eddie. You know, go on a diet. Don't eat so much, and man, you can be in the NFL.
Out of the league. You can't do that. You gotta push away from the table from time to time.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's time now that
Let's do it.
The Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic. Well, I see it loosening up there in the green room. There it is. 6 topic. Whoa, it is spinning away. This thing's ready to go today.
Yep.
No
6 items. No idea what any of them are. These are all Gurn Jr. Filing suit.
Okay.
Is our first. Let's
Who's
take
suing
a whack
who?
at it. Oh, yeah. Trinidad Chambliss. He was terrific this past year. Spent 4 years in Division II. This year, he was in the top 10 in the Heisman. That guy from Ferris State, John, that guy could play.
Well, I have no idea where Ferris State's located.
It's in Michigan somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Well, he had applied for an extra year from the NCAA because of an injury he had, wanted an extra year of eligibility for 2026, and the NCAA turned him down. Thomas Mars, who delights in suing the NCAA never wins those things. Thomas Mars is the lawyer. He's going to file suit on behalf of the Chambliss family because he had a deal in place for $6 million at Ole Miss, a combination of revenue share money, a lot of it. And, he does that AT&T commercial on national television and everything. Well, that contract's null and void if he ain't playing college football next year.
Yeah.
So they turned it down. They've got another special thing I think they're going to do later this week to take a look at the appeal. And if that appeal's not granted, then there's going to be a lawsuit against the NCAA. And John and I both know that the NCAA's record in lawsuits is pretty bad. They're going to lose that lawsuit.
Yeah,
so I believe he'll play next year, and good for him.
Yes.
That kid can
Good stuff.
play.
All right. Hey, is the Longhorn back? Hey, welcome back, Longhorn. Glad to hear from you. It's been a minute. All right. Just throwing in a little chat line chatter as we spin the wheel. And it's going to I like the green panel.
Oh,
Bye-bye Bear.
Neon green.
Bye-bye Bear. Bear's been gone for like 40 years. This Bear.
Oh, yeah. See, I love this stuff from Gurn. This is in California. I saw this earlier. I think Gurn had it earlier where the guy, he knows the bear's there, but he can't get rid of it because he was stuck underneath there. Finally gets out of there.
Yeah.
The guy, like an idiot, gets his camera out there. I ain't messing with the bear. I ain't going behind him with a camera.
Why did
all that?
Was there some garbage down there? I mean, what was the bear?
He got stuck down there, and there's some sort of California law that says, I mean, like he's a squatter. He's been there for a couple of weeks. You know, human beings, they can squat in your house and you can't get rid of them.
Not in my house, they're not. I can promise you that.
Anyway.
Not going to happen.
Anyway, so the bear gets free. Now, I love that stuff from Gurn every once in a while.
Yeah.
I love
you
it
know,
that they
Bear,
have footage of the bear's actual escape. That's quality.
You know, the bear's not going to be living at my house. I mean,
No.
Yeah, not going to happen.
The only interaction John had with Bear, I think he saw him one time eating breakfast in Northport.
No, I actually took his grandson's coat back to his hotel room in New Orleans before the Ohio State Woody is a Pecker game. Because his grandson grew up with.
Okay.
Well, I've told you the story about they had the buttons, you know, before the Alabama.
And you got
Ohio
in trouble
State
with your
game.
mom for wearing one.
And she said, "You're not wearing that." I went, okay. Put it in my pocket, walked out of the room, put it back on my shirt. Yeah.
Wore it everywhere.
There was a cartoon character back in the day named Woody Woodpecker.
Yeah. And the head coach at Ohio State, his name was Woody Hayes. So, you know, somebody
made the button, Woody is a Pecker.
Could not wait to put it on his shirt. All right. Take
the shot.
This has got a question mark at the end.
Hey, I never had a coach told me take the shot. I can promise you that.
Stunning aerial pictures captured. These guys are they've got like a collapsing cliff. I mean, the cliff, there's rock slides and stuff coming from that cliff. The guy says, well, is it under repair? No. Well, play on. Man. Your boy, I ain't playing right there. That cliff is falling.
Where is this taking place?
California again, probably. Where is that?
Is this San Diego? Is this
Torrey
Pines? Huh. Wow.
Yeah, Torrey Pines. In Dorset. This is in England.
Oh, yeah. England.
This is in Great Britain where they don't have great sense anyway.
Now, Barry, how they going to fill that in? I mean, that's a problem. I don't know how that's going to get that problem. That's just going to keep eroding.
No, you know, you take your stance. You take a couple practice swings. If you hit that divot may be what sends the whole thing to the beach, right?
What that bunker is about to get, that's in trouble.
No,
that ain't good.
No, you ain't doing. Not me.
I ain't looking for a ball over there. No, I'll take my 2-shot penalty.
Yeah, exactly. Save my life.
All right, let's spin away. Let's go for it.
We got 3 left.
3 more to go. Red, blue, and yellow. And it's going to land on
reinstated, and it feels so good.
What's this?
Brooks Koepka. You know, he was on the Live Tour. Live Tour ain't turning out to be squat. He wants to come back to the PGA Tour. They say, okay, you can do it. But you're going to have to do some things. You know, they gave him $100 million, and it turns out they're not going to be able to do it. He'll have to make a $5 million charitable donation. He will not be eligible for FedEx Cup bonus money. I don't care if he wins every tournament. He's not going to get any sponsor exemptions, and he's not going to get equity grants. That's probably $50 to $85 million that he's not going to get. So that's kind of that. PJ saying, yeah, we'll let you in. You know, we'll let you back. But you never should have left in the first place. And Koepka himself says, yeah, it was meant to hurt. They meant to make it painful.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I heard Bryson DeChambeau is wanting to come back. There's a couple of others as well. So, yeah, maybe Liv's not all that it's cracked up to be. So, yeah, I'm glad they're coming back to the PGA Tour and make them feel it a little bit. Make it sting to come back. You got to really want to come back. And obviously these guys do. So I'm in. I like that.
Yeah. We could have told you then. I mean, I'm not a huge golfer, but I could have told you, man, this Live Tour, you know, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, $100 million. Yeah. But how much are you ever going to see?
You know, it's similar to like if Auburn wanted to hire me for something, I'd go over there, take the money, yell War Eagle, dress up in the Albee costume, whatever. But after a matter of time, I'm probably going to veer back to where, you know, what I've been used to my entire life. I'll take a little short 2-year hiatus and go do what they want me to do. But I got to think I'm coming back to where my roots are.
Alabama State.
Hey, I'm an alum.
There you go. So, we knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, the Live Tour, I think they're going to start hemorrhaging more and more players. And pretty soon it'll be, they wanted to merge, I guess. They're just going to.
I'd rather watch the Corn Ferry Tour, which I actually saw some this week. They're in the Bahamas, the Corn Ferry Tour. All right, we got two more to go. Let's play. Let's spin. Let's get them in before we wrap up here today. Red and blue, and it's going to land on red, I believe. Yep.
All right. Matthew McConaughey. Again, he did a movie called Rivals of Mziah, and he spent some time in Birmingham.
Has that movie even been released yet?
Yeah, he was movie sets in Birmingham, Bessemer, Pell City, Walker County. Geez, you make a movie in Walker County? Yes. So anyway, he's been doing that, and he says, I like it here. Birmingham has a great sense of humor, not afraid to eat crow. It's Aspen in the South without the... What? Birmingham is Aspen in the South. He was on a podcast.
Yeah. Aspen of the South. Well, I mean, if you go to Mountain Brook, maybe it is. Who knows? Okay.
No. Yeah, he must have been high again. I don't know. Birmingham,
Dazed and confused?
South.
All right. Let's spin.
Are you sure he said Aspen of the South, or was it the
Asheville? Yeah.
Anyway, mites on ice.
Ooh, mine doesn't sound good. Mites on ice. Ugh. Oh, here we go. A little hockey.
Oh, the Hershey Bears.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Hershey. These are grown up. These are not like little kids. There's a fight in youth hockey.
Beautiful. Love it. Is this midget hockey or kids play? What do we got here?
Are these like? Look at these little guys.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, these are not like little.
Where are the refs?
The fans are cool with it all. The fans are like,
that's a pretty big crowd.
Whoa, come on, goalie. There you go. The goalie lays somebody out. What are these kids? 10, 11, maybe 12?
I mean, man, there's a big crowd at this game. Yeah, that goalie. He's Butch the bully. What is this? I mean, because there was a big crowd at that.
Mites on ice. Oh, this was like you see sometimes at college basketball games where you've got kids that'll play. I've seen some of the Special Olympics team play basketball at the halftime breaks at games and stuff. Sure. This was mite players. These are kids 8 and under. Up, go up a little bit. This is the Central Penn Panthers Youth Ice Hockey Club and the Cleveland Monsters. These are 8-year-old kids, and they get a chance to play at a minor league big boy hockey game, and this is what they do? I don't know.
Let me see this goalie one more time. This goalie shot is beautiful.
Yeah, goalie takes the cheap shot, comes all the way across. Guy didn't see him.
Oh, yeah, right here. Here it comes.
Boom!
Oh,
and then he goes and runs back and says, I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
All right. America.
I want to know where the refs are, man. Are the refs taking a break during halftime?
I mean, have refs and stuff at, the other little basketball. I don't.
I'm surprised some parents weren't fighting up in the stands.
Well, we almost got finished on time, but then Gurn Jr. hits us with a mite league hockey fight. And of course, we can't just brush that off. We got to see that from the beginning.
Yeah. Okay, tomorrow. Thanks to Brian Matthews, AuburnSports.com, Travis Ryer on YouTube. Tomorrow, CJ Duncan, Yellow Hammer News, and Josh Harris, the Moneyline Magician, scheduled to join us tomorrow. Bart Heiss later in the week to talk some hoops. Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, Jason Caldwell, Ralph Michaels of the Wager Talk, and the Gold Sheet. We got a lot going on the remainder of the week.
Yes, we appreciate everybody checking in today. We'll be back again in just, you can watch us the whole time if you want to until we're live again on Wednesday at 7. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.